In this video, we will build a simple RESTful HTTP server using Node.js and Express. The term RESTful refers to the systems, typically web APIs, that follow the principles of REST, or representational state transfer. These principles define how different software systems communicate over the internet using standard web protocols. This recording is not focused on REST concepts in depth, so I will not be discussing RESTful design details. Instead, the focus will be on building and observing a client-server communication. I will first create a Node.js and Express-based RESTful HTTP server and run it locally. I will then demonstrate how to use curl command from the PowerShell terminal on Windows to send HTTP requests to the RESTful server. Next, I will show how to install a library called libcurl on a Windows system. Installing libcurl on other platforms such as Linux or macOS is generally more straightforward than on Windows. libcurl is a C-based client-side networking library that provides API for performing application layer network operations such as sending HTTP requests. Finally, I will create a C++ HTTP client program using libcurl and demonstrate that it successfully communicates with the server. First, we need Node.js, which is a runtime environment that allows you to run JavaScript outside the web browser, typically on server. This is an application primarily written in C++. If first you want to go to the terminal and see whether you have a Node.js installed or not. Run this command. I have it is displaying the version. That means I have a Node installed in my system. I don't need to install. But if you don't see this version displayed, you can go to the web browser and maybe type Node.js. Search for Node.js. It will present you this link. Click this link. That will take you to this page. In this page, you click this installer. This is for Windows. So there's an option for selecting for different systems, Mac OS, Linux, and other options here. And in my system, I would select Windows x64 and then just download this. Once it is downloaded, I will follow through the installation process. So it will download this file, and then I click this file, and it will let me wait for installation to complete. Download to complete. So we have this file, and you can click this. Follow through this process. I'm not going to be doing this because I have Node already installed in my system, but in your case you can follow this process. So I'm just canceling this. Right, so I did double click the file that was installed, and it actually wanted me to follow through the installation process, but I just canceled it. Now once installation is complete, you go back to the terminal and run this command, and also run npm v. This displays the version of npm, which stands for Node Package Manager. It is used to install and manage packages for Node.js applications. Next, let us test a simple JavaScript program to confirm that Node.js is working correctly. So for that, I'm using uh, Visual Studio Code, um, um, you create a new file, maybe call this let's say my.js.js. It has to you have to have the extension .js in it, and put a JavaScript program, any, for example, I mean probably the simplest program. This is the command to display the text, like printf function in C programming. So this is similar to, let's say, printf of programming, if you are familiar with, or cout statement in C++, right? So we have this code, hello, I mean the command to display hello world in the terminal. Save this file. Now we go back to the terminal, and you have to make sure that this Visual Studio Code is open in the current folder. So check for the file. We have my.js. Let's see the content. So it has this content that we just wrote in. Um, Now we want to run this program, and once we run the program, this should display this text, hello world, on this terminal. So the way of running is type command node and then name of the file. So we have this JavaScript file displayed here. Otherwise, typically this you would need a browser to display to run the JavaScript code, but it makes it pretty easy to create a JavaScript file and test. And in our case, in this in the case of this recording, we will also run a server in the terminal. Next, we want to initialize our Node.js project in this folder. This folder, which is the folder we're working in, which is empty, has nothing in it. And the command to initialize is npm int init with option y, and it will create a file package JSON which stores project information and dependencies. So we have only this file. Now we want to create a server script. Node.js itself doesn't have built-in tools to create a server easily, so we will use a package called Express. So we need to install this Express package in our project. First, before that, let me go to the code. So I'm using this Visual Studio Code. Now in our project we have this package JSON created, and once we install the Express, it will have another folder created with that package installed in it. So to install Express, we can use a command. We can use npm install Express. So it will make sure that this package is installed. Added 65 packages, audited 60 packages. So we can go back to the project. Now we have this node modules folder installed. It has a lot of things inside it because of the installation of the package. So it essentially contains that package information, and we have this JSON file. I'm not going to go detail into it now. So but one thing you want to note here is that this express has been placed here. So this is a dependency. So the version of the express. Now to create a server, I need to have a file. Let me call it. You can call, I mean, whatever you want, but I'm calling it server. So server.js. So the content in this file is going to be JavaScript. So this is going to be the server file. In server file, I want to actually bring in the express. So for that, I want to use a function called require. This is a Node.js function to load a model. And the model we want to load is express. And once it is loaded, we need some identifier to identify it. So maybe a name, call it express, and make it constant so that it cannot be reassigned to anything else afterwards. Now with this express, you can create an application. So const app, this is the name of application. So it's like invoking a function and using this name with I mean using name to identify that result of that invocation, which is going to be next application. Now once we have this thing, we can use a function. We can call a function called listen through this app. So in this function, it receives two things. First is port number, the port number in which you want to run this application. Let me use the number 3000. And second thing it takes is a function called something called callback function. So callback function, we want to use an arrow function, which is kind of similar to the lambda expression in C++, if you're familiar with that. So this is like in this this is a parenthesis which may include the parameters if the function receives parameters, and then you have a function logic placed in this curly braces. In this case, I'm just having console log on port let's say 3000. So this is the thing that will be displayed on the terminal. So with this we have created a server. So save this file, and we can go back to the terminal. We have this server.js, then we can run this program. Now server is running, right? This is probably the simplest server. It does not have any functionality added to it. Just server is running, right? So stop it and go back to the code. Now we want to typically you don't want to put this port number like this, because this is kind of hard coding of the port number. So to make it flexible, we want to have a variable, a constant, port equals to 3000. You initialize like this and use that variable here, and you want to use that. Sometimes you may want to change this number, so that has to be also changed in this place. And for that This is we have placed this thing is called string literal. Instead of string literal, you want to use something called template literal to actually use the value carried by port into this string that is going to be displayed. So for template literal, we use the tick, and then you put the string on port, then you place insert this value using this syntax. So comment this out. Again, go back to the terminal. So now server is running in this port. We want to now we want to add some functionality to it so that we can actually use the server. So let me include a get router so that we can use the get request with the server. So we want to actually, for example, from the browser, we want to access it like this localhost 3000. This is a port number. So so we want to be able to type this thing on the browser URL bar, and we want to get something there, right? So for that, we want to create a router for this request using the application, this app, and we can use like listen function. We can use another function called get app.get. Again, this function receives two things. First, first thing we want to put is this thing here, and the second is again the callback function. In this callback function, we have two things here. It receives the parameter. In the case of listen function, we didn't have any parameter, but we have the parameter. We call them request req, which is for request and response, request response, and then I mean whatever you, for example, when you have the request is made by um, made, then whatever that comes, anything that comes through the request you access by using this parameter, and anything you want to send back as a response, you I mean write it or set it through this parameter. So in this case, we are not getting anything from the browser, but we want to send things back to the browser, right? So I want to use res send, and what you want to send? Hello world, the text, right? In actual server, you would be, for example, going into the database, reading the database, and getting the users, and returning this users to the browser. But this is a simple program for just demonstration, so I'm just making sure that we have something to return, and we are sending it back to the browser, to the client. So with this, let me go back to the terminal, and in the terminal run the server. So I think I might have used the wrong name here. Let me go back. I think there's something missing there. So This has to be not length. This has to be get for get request. Usually we use uppercase letters for get request. So it is running in the port, and if I want to, let's say, go back to the browser, something like this. Um, so use, let's say, localhost and users. So we have this response. The response that the server gave us back has been displayed here. So this is the outcome of the get request from this client. This browser is client, and it communicated with the server and sent the get request, and it got the response back. So that router function we implemented. Back to the server code. We also want to have another get function so that we can not only pass this users, but also we want to pass one particular ID, so that, for example, if you want to get the information about a particular user with a certain ID, then we can implement, we want to be able to put this thing, like for example, this URL address with let's say ID, suppose 23. If you want to type this, put this in the URL address bar in the browser and get some response, then you want to have the get function similar to this, but the ID placed in this place. So app get slash ID, and then everything else can be the same, particularly, but just to you want to make sure that the response you got from this um, function and this function are different. So maybe you want to implement differently. Send you want to send a custom message, for example, hello world, with the ID placed here. But before that, you need to get the ID, right? So you get the ID from this request parameter. Const ID equals to request params and ID, right? So this is the syntax we want to use here, and use that ID in the response. Right, I think this should be okay now. So let me go back to the browser and experiment with this. So instead of this only user, if I put ID, let's say 23, so looks like it is not oh, maybe I didn't run the server, so it's not responding, I guess. Go back to the terminal. You need to cancel and again run the server each time you make changes to it. So running on server port. Now go to the browser again. So now we got this response, hello world, and with user ID 23. one thing remaining here is npm start, the use of npm start. So since to run the server, I have been using this command, node server. If you want a little bit better command to start, this is the command that we want to use it. um, Essentially it goes and it actually runs the same command that I used before, node server. Curl is a command line tool used in terminals to send and receive data over the internet. It is commonly used to test a web request, such as accessing websites or APIs. To send a request like the one previously demonstrated using the browser, like this, uh, we can use the following command from the terminal. So if I want maybe open a new tab in the terminal, uh, so if from this terminal, if I want to access this server, I want to send get request to this server, I can use curl.exe if you are using this terminal. But if you are using a different system, for example git bash in Windows or in Linux in other Mac OS, you may not have to include this .exe extension here. Then x get request and to the address. So this is the get request, and it sent me the hello world, which was the thing that was written by this function. And if I want to carry out get request for another version, then I pass ID 23, then I get a different response from a different function. Now let me again go back to the code and do something there. In this code we have get request, two versions get request. I want to be able to use uh, also post request. uh, I cannot experiment post request in the browser, because to experiment it I need to have a browser which would have let's say a form in it, and I would have submit button, and then I would submit, and then after that the post request get um, will get sent to the server. So there are a lot of complications. So for simplicity, we can we are going to be using the terminal and curl command there. So uh, let me create a function, a router for post request. So we implement a method called post, which receives the path uh, users, and we actually want to um, uh, add a new user. I mean, we want this to add a new user. I mean, theoretically, I mean, in this case, I'm just demonstrating. I will not be actually implementing it, because I have not created database. That would be too complicated process. So this function is expected to get a user information from the client and save that information in the server. So this is the path, and then we have callback function which has two parameters, request and response. So we want to get the request from we would be sending the user information in the request. So we want to extract that user information from the request body. So constant body content equals to, let's say, rig dot body. So it will get that body, and then I want to send back the same information instead of ideally, I mean, as I told you earlier, it would be saved in the database, but I'm not doing that. So just send with some status code, let's say 201, and we want to send this thing in the JSON format. Message would be data edit and body content, b content, right? So now we're going to go back to the terminal. Um, Here the way of running making a post request is to change this to post, and we don't have this endpoint, so just users, and we need to supply the information. So the body information that is going to be extracted. So the way of doing that is having option edge after post. It's going to be content type application JSON. So this is the header, and then the data. Here I find it convenient to create a file. We make a typo correction, TION. So it is not I mean, finding the data. We need to supply the data for data, and let me go back to the code, and here in the same folder I want to create a file named let's say to be passed in the body. So this file will have the content that we assume that it was received from the sent by the client in the request. The name of that user is JSON, and age is 25. So this is the content of this file. With this we should be able to send that execute that curl command. So now we want to specify the data, and add the name of the file, right? This is the command. The reason it's not working is that we have not stopped the server and restarted again, right? So this I mean, stopping restarting is a lot. I mean this is not convenient way of doing it. So I want to suggest a little bit different approach. So let us go back to the code again. So in package JSON file, we want to put something called nodemon. We want to use the nodemon, right? So something like this here, dev. So this is the package that we need to install. So let me go back to the terminal again and install this package. So npm install, and then this is just option. So this is the package we want to install in this project. Now go back to the code to make sure that everything is okay, right? So now this dependencies is has been added. We have a dev nodemon server.js. So let us go to the terminal and try to execute it. Now the command we are going to run here is npm run dev. Now the server is executing, and now after this point I don't need to come back and stop the server, start again for any changes I made make in the server code. So it makes things more convenient here. Now we can go back to the terminal and test so here post command. Now the thing is has been at least returned partially return the information the function is intended to return. It returned the message saying that data has been added, but it has not returned that body. So particularly, let me show you again. So in the code we have so it is supposed to return this big content as well. So to ensure that this returns, we need to add a middleware somewhere here so that it can deal with this JSON data automatically. So the way of adding middleware is it's simple, it's not complicated. So somewhere in this place you have a simple command invocation of the function throw app dot use, then express. So this is the middleware. So this should be use, not arguments. Right. So with this I want to try again. So in the body part has also been displaced at this point. Let me do one more time. So the post request is working. The body was sent through this file, this data.json, and it went to the server. What was processed by that function code, and then it is returned back. Message data added and body with the name JSON as 25. In this demonstration, I will show how to use the libcurl library to create a client program capable of performing HTTP communication with a server. This will illustrate how libcurl can be leveraged to send requests and receive responses efficiently in C++ application. libcurl is a free and open source client-side library for transferring data using URL syntax. It is written in C and it supports a wide range of protocols like HTTP, HTTPS, FTP, and more. It provides a simple API application programming interface for uh, performing network requests, handling cookies, authentication, etc. Because it is portable and efficient, libcurl is widely used in C and C++ programs to fetch or send data over the internet reliably. I will demonstrate how to install libcurl on the Windows system. After that, I will show how to create a C++ program that performs get, post, put, and delete requests using libcurl's functionalities. So to install libcurl, you can go to the browser and type search for libcurl, libcurl, download, or just you can type libcurl. It will present you this link. Click this link, you get this page, and click on the download page. Here search for um, the file, the installation file, or um, pre-compiled file for your system. You may be using, let's say, Linux system or different versions of a Linux system, or you may be using a Mac OS system, but I am interested in Windows system, so I will be downloading this file. So I'm interested in 64-bit version. So I'm going click that link, and I'm downloading this curl for 64-bit Intel. So it will actually initiate this downloading of this file, zip file, and I want to open this in the folder. Here you can right click it. Let me. So in the download folder, that file would have been downloaded, and then you can right click it because this is a compressed zip file. Right click and click extract all in Windows system, and select a folder where you want to extract it. Usually I create a package folder called package in C. um, so I select that folder and I click the extract button. Now once it is extracted, it's going to be extracted in this folder, which is uh, the package folder in my computer. And when you click, you have different subfolders in it: bin, include, lib. So I will be using this lib folder because essentially this call.h is going to be used in the program, and this include folder, and this file, and then include and lib are the folders that are going to be used. And also later on we will be using this file. The way of using, the convenient way of using this file would be just copy it and paste in the project folder, so that the application will easily access it. It will be available to the application. So I'll come back to this in a moment. So let me make sure that this has been installed, or it is available in our program. So for that, I want to create several files here, in which I will eventually be writing the code. One is HttpClient .s and the module, and another file is http client.cpp, and another file is going to be client.cpp. So this http client.s and cpp will contain uh, um, class and class and its implementation, and this http dash client will contain the main function to use that class. So let me have some skeleton kind of code here. If not defined, it's going to be http So I hope you are familiar with this. This is a preprocessor guard, and I want to put everything in the namespace called let's say http app, and in implementation file you include the header, and we also have namespace http app, and we have in this client module include http client .h and int main, and I want to have one cout statement to display hello world for just testing purpose. And what else? And to use this cout we need to have IO stream included. Right, so I have this thing right now. This code will compile without any issue. Let me demonstrate the compilation of this three files first, and I will actually after that I will make sure that we are able to include the um, the curl library in our project. So we have these three files we created. I want to compile it using the command g++, g++ l std equals to c++ 17, and output file http client.exe, and the source files http cpp and http client.cpp. So these are the files, and I think there's typo http. Undefined reference to in main. So we have anything it should have something, right? So look like it doesn't have a main function. It could not find main function. Therefore it's complaining. I don't know why did I put that. Let me go back and check. probably I didn't save this file, so it was empty. To the terminal again. So it's compiled. We have this exe file created, and you run it. So it displayed hello world. Okay, so up to this point it's okay. Next, we want to make sure that we are able to include the curl library. So we want to include in this place, so that through the inclusion it will go to this module, and also it will go to this module as well. So this is the thing we want to place here. So if this is I mean, with this command, if it executes, then we can be sure that curl functionality is available for us to use in this module, and in .cpp module also. If needed, it will not be needed, but if needed, in this module as well. So let me go back to the terminal, try to compile again. So now it is complaining, right? So it's not available. So to make it available, you need to specify the path, right? So therefore we have one header path for header file, I mean path for include files, and we have we need to specify the path for library files, and we need to have this so this option, right? So the path you copy and paste in this place for include, and path for library you copy and paste in this place, right? So let me go back to the folder. So we have so this include path you go and copy, take it to the terminal and paste after this I option, and library, go to the this folder, copy, take it to the terminal and paste here, and enter. So now it actually, let me see again. So the complaint is oh, it should be lcurl, not libcurl, lcurl option, this thing. So now we have this file and HttpClient running. So we are okay now. So we are able to bring in that functionality that we can use in our code. Now with this, I want to create a class called HttpClient, and this class is going to have a variable to actually hold the base URL. The base URL is going to be this thing. So this is the, in our case, in our server case, this is going to be base URL, and then afterwards by the function, throw the function the endpoint will be added. This thing will be endpoint. So this thing is called endpoint, and the thing before it is base URL. So we are going to have a variable to store this base URL. So it's going to be string type. So we want to include a string library. Call it base URL. And another thing, we need to have a constructor which will receive when we create an object of this class. We want it to receive the URL and set it to this base URL. So HttpClient constant URL, and then its implementation which is going to be placed in this .cpp file will have this will actually copy this URL to this base URL. Now another thing we want to all the functionalities they rely on is something called the write callback function. It has a specific syntax. You need to follow the signature. You cannot alter the signature for this because it is required by the curl. So the signature is as follows. First parameter is void pointer, which is a if you are familiar with this, it's called generic pointer. Call it contents, and size t size, and this is number of memory bytes, right? So and then after that, the next thing we want to it's this also again this void generic pointer. So this is the signature, and then it returns it's essentially it returns the product of these two things, total number of bytes that are copied. Right, so this is a type, and this function usually if you want to place this function in outside space, um, um, that's also okay, but since we want to focus on object orientation, so it's always better to put inside the class. So but this function should not belong to one specific object, it should belong to the class, therefore you want to make it static. But if you want to place this outside in the global space, static is not necessary. And we want this class to have several functions. Let's say to invoke the request, get request, we want to have a post request, we want to have put request, and we want to have delete request, right? So let me begin with a get request. First I would make sure that get request works, then I will go for the other request. And get request will receive the endpoint because base URL is already there, so we want to pass endpoint. And it will return it has some response which is going to be returned. In this case, in our application, is going to be of type string. So this is for get request. Now let us go ahead and implement this functions .cpp file. This is static. In implementation, this keyword static is not necessary. And we have HTTP name of the class. So here we will be putting the definition or logic for this function, and public keyword is not needed. This is a constructor belonging to HTTP client class, and the purpose of this is just to copy base URL, and we have this get function. Right, so we're going to be implementing these things here. So in this write callback, let me just expand the space a little bit. In this function, I think it would be easy to view it if I put this in different lines. So here what we have to essentially do is we want to get the data from this data from the memory space pointed by this pointer, and copy that data into the memory space pointed. No, I think this is the other way. So we want to get the data data from the memory space pointed to by this pointer to the memory space pointed to by this pointer. So you cannot use this generic pointer directly to access the data. So direct access dereferencing of this is illegal in C++. Therefore, always when you want to if you want to access the data through the generic pointer, you need to cast this to appropriate type. So I want to actually cast this into the string type. So using a string pointer type, and then I can actually give it a name, because so we have a string pointer, call it str or something. So we have we can access that memory through this str, and we want to append this std string provides a function called append, and I want to actually access the content character by character. So total number of items that I want to copy is going to be this size times this number of memory bytes, right? So we put that thing in the second argument, size times m. In the first argument is going to be the type casted. I mean, we are copying character by character, so we want to cast this as a character type. So static cast character pointer and contents. So in this case, this user p and str, this point to the same memory space, but str will give you access, it allow you to write in that space, but user p will not allow you to write in that space. And it will actually append this contents to user p, and you want to return size times to number of bytes copied, right? So it's going to be nmemb. So this is the implementation of this function, right? And now we have implementation of the constructor, and we need to implement the get request. In get the function, we want to use the functionalities that are available through this curl. actually. So first what you have to do is you want to have a state. I mean, you want to create a libcurl session essentially, and keep its handle. Like if you create a file, if you open the file, then there's a name file object, which is a file handle object, and you are creating a file session. And until you close the file, from the time you open the file and up to the time you close the file, that's going to be a session. So, and you have a file, the name of the object as a handle to the file. You can understand in that perspective. So the type of the handle is going to be curl. This is again available through the, this is a stock type which is available through the library, curl library, and pointer to call it curl. So this is a pointer to that stock type, and you want to initialize this by calling a function that is also available through curl, curl is init. So this is a function which creates a libcurl session and returns the handle for that session, and that handle is going to be carried by this pointer. Now if this is curl is okay, that means if it is pointing to a correct pointer, not a null ptr, then you perform the get request here. And finally you want to return the string, so maybe create that string here, call it a response and slice to empty, and return that string here. If curl this is okay handle, then it will do the request, otherwise it will just return empty string as a response, right? So inside this if statement, you want to do several things. um, you want to build a full URL, right? So for example, this is the endpoint, and we have the base URL. You want to combine base URL with the endpoint to create a full URL. So there's a function that helps you to do that, which is curl. This is actually a function called easy setup. We use it for several times. Let me go and try to show you in the browser, in the internet. So here, if you search for this function, it will show you in the same curl website. You have this thing, and it has a signature, and this option, by specifying the option, you can perform different things with this function, right? And for different options you need to provide different parameters. So all the options are actually listed here, different options. So based on what options you provide, it will perform of different things. So we will not be using all the options at this point. Maybe 4, 5, 6 options. I mean, 4 different options for different um, things. So you can, if you have free time, you can go and explore this. But um, it will be easy for you to, if you focus on the code that we're actually I'm focusing on. So here, the first thing you want to pass is the handle curl, and the option you want to pass if to actually create the URL is curl. This is kind of macro defined in that in the library. Curl opt curl option URL, and then you want to pass this the URL you want to pass into. That means you are setting that URL, this entire URL, as a URL to be used when this GET request is going to be made. So base URL, you combine that with endpoint, and these are two string objects, so this addition is a concatenation, and pass this as a C style string. So you need to always pass as a C style string, because this library is based on C programming, so it expects this kind of pointer, this kind of thing, constant character pointer kind of thing. So to get this kind of thing, you need to call this function cstr with this string type object. This will actually set the URL. It's going to be the full URL, not base or endpoint, something like this. HTTP something like this, right? This is endpoint, and this is a base URL. So it combines and sets it. Now the next thing is you want to register this callback function. So again, you use the same function, curl az set opt, but with a different option. The option you want to use is in the place of URL, you want to use a write function, and then the name of the function you pass here. This is the name of the function, write callback. So the purpose of this will be register write callback. And the next thing you want to do is the response, where the response has to be written, right? So first we set the URL to be used, and then the callback function to be invoked each time the data arrives, and where you want to write the response, because if you make a get request, there is going to be some response, right? So you want to return that response here. So you want to set this string as the thing where the response has to be written. So use that same function, curl easy set opt, same function, handle, and then option is going to be call opt, and we have write data, and provide the address of this object response. So this will actually set essentially this will register the response object, and the next thing to do here is you want to tell this is this is going to be optional, but you want to tell which request you want to make, right? So you can use the same function, the option you want to put is curl opt, and then http GET. That means you are telling that I want to make a get request. and then function to perform get request. Hence you intend to and you want to perform the get request. The function is curl easy perform. This is different, right? So all the functions that I used before this are same, set opt. Now the perform, you just pass the handle, and this will actually return something that you want to um, the thing it returns is going to be of type this thing, and call it response or something. So this is the type. Now when the get request is performed, it will return, and you store that return thing um, in this um, object, and then you want to after it is done, you want to do some cleaning up. So you did the installation in the beginning, so you need to do cleaning up. It's like open the file and close the file after you're done working with the file. So it will perform the cleaning up, it will free the resources, and then to access the data, sometimes this response may be successful, may not be successful. So you want to check whether it is there is a problem. If res is not equals to this thing, then you want to go for displaying error failed, and you also want to call this function, which will actually get the extra information about the problem. And at this point you don't want to do any returning, you just want to return empty string. So empty string, and otherwise the response will have things written to it, and it was registered, so the response is going to be returned, which is the string object. So I think this is all you have to do to implement the get request. So the steps are pretty much straightforward if you practice for several times. So initialization, and then you have setting up for the eventual call, eventual performing get request. Different things you have to set. You have to set the URL, full URL. You need to set the right callback function. You need to set the response, and you want to tell that you intend to make get request, and you perform the request and cleaning up, and then if not, then you don't want to return because you don't know what is in this response, so you just want to return the empty string. So this is the implementation. I think we can at least test this code. So let me go back to the main function and write some code to test it. Comment this out. So I want to create an object, but before that I want, because these are in the namespace, so I want this object to be, this class to be visible, accessible. So have using this thing, and then you create an object, let's say HttpClient call this HC, but you need to initialize, because if you look at the constructor, you need to pass the base URL to it here. So the base URL in our case is the URL in which the server is running. So let me show you. So this here, the server is running still, so we can use the same server. HTTP. So this is the base URL, and we want to make a GET request. sc.get and pass the endpoint, and it will return the response. Record the response in a string type object, and you can display the response. Maybe call it get response so that we can differentiate. And also we can also do another get request with the ID. So I'm going to be copying this get request with ID. So in this case, this endpoint is going to be something with the value 23, and maybe we can reuse this, the response. So get response here with ID. So we are in a state where we can go ahead and try to execute, right? So this statement will create an object, and then this function will invoke the get request or perform the get request, and it will call the function we implemented here, this get function, and the response is going to be returned by this function, and that response is going to be displayed by the cout statement in this case and in this case as well. So make sure you save everything, all the files, and we're going to the terminal. You need to compile again because you have made changes to the file, so you use the same command to compile. This is a compilation command I demonstrated earlier. So I think there was a typo in the includes in this preprocessor directive. It should be IO stream. So let me go to the core, try to fix it. Where is it? I think it should be in this file. So no, IO stream we have here, and stream. Let me go back to the error again. So it's saying CER is not the member of Probably IOStream is not available in that module. So let me go back. I think I know what is the problem. So the problem is that in this function we have used this CARR, but because this module, this file only includes HttpClient.s, and this function doesn't have IOStream. Um, so you need to include that IOStream here. And again, try it. Now it compiles, and we can execute HTTP client. It is not showing anything, right? So the reason it's not showing anything is it actually I think I briefly mentioned about that in the beginning. So it makes use of there is a DLL file in the bin folder of the libcurl installation directory. So you have this file DLL. You need to make sure that this file is available to the program. So the easy way of doing that is to copy this file and paste in the folder where we have the project, I mean in our project, right? So in the project, let me see whether I can paste here or not. So this file has been posted here. So I think with this we should be able to run the program. To the terminal. So now it is running, right? So we got the response from both get request. First was hello world, second was hello world with user ID 23. That means this get request is working. We don't have any issue with this get request function. And the next thing we want to implement is the function for post request. So for that we want to create in this file, we want to create another function for post request. Call it post. One difference between this get request and post request is that in the post request we also send the data in its body. So you need to have another parameter to send the data, maybe string type, const we want to send this as JSON data, and implement this function in .cpp file. We want to make sure that we save it, and in cpp file, maybe after get implementation, we have so we write the code. It will look something similar to this, but with some differences, because the way post request is carried out is a little bit different than the get request. But initialization, cleaning up, and this registration are going to be kind of similarity, a lot of similarity there's going to be. So Now first we need to do this um, libcurl session installation the way we did in get request. I'm going to be just copying and pasting just to save the time, and we're going to have a response obviously, so we also have a response string. And if do something, and finally return response. So here the first thing we do is going to be the if you remember the command line command we used, let me show you. In the post request, so this was the post request, right? So I did through the command line terminal. So this is the header information that's going to be included. You need to make this information available, and you also need to make the data available to the post request. So for that we need to the type, or we need to create an object to carry the header information. So the type of object is going to be struct. So I actually have this keyword struct because these are the tools that are available through C programming language, but it may also work without this struct if you are compiling through a C++ compiler. And headers equals to null ptr. This is a pointer that will point to a linked list which will contain the header information. So we're going to have only one header, so it's going to be only one item in the linked list. We want to append the headers into it, the same information that I demonstrated. Headers is equal to if you're familiar with linked list statement, the action for creating linked list, we do something like this. You pass the existing header into it, head, in the case of usually the term used is head. So pass the head, and then that will create a it will return the address that you set to the pointer. So, and after that you pass in the as a second argument the header information. This is the same as that we passed in the command line version of the curl execution. Apply I think it's okay. So now the header has been set. Now we want to set the same thing we did the URL. So this thing we have to do. And we set this header. So we created this linked list. We set this linked list for use by the post request. The option is headers, HTTP headers. right? So this will set the headers. You can also call configure the header or set the header. Then the next thing we want to do here is um, it is I mean to it is about telling the curl to actually consider the post request, right? So in this case we are actually this is about telling that you intend to make get request. You want to tell uh, that you intend to make post request. Get request goes by default. If you don't do anything, it will be the get request it will call. But for post request, you must be explicit in having this kind of statement. So maybe have this comment, make post request, and the option here is going to be curl opt, and post fails. And then you need to also set the field which is going to be um, this thing, because you need to pass this JSON data in the body. So but you need to pass it as a constant character pointer. So it's going to be JSON data cstr. Right now the next thing is kind of similar to same as what we did before. Set the callback function and write callback function and the response. So we can just copy these two lines. Yeah. So register a callback, write callback function and register the response. And then you actually it's time to perform the request. So the syntax for performing request is same, because we have set this for post request here. So now you use the same thing, this same syntax to perform the post request, and you do cleaning up as the same syntax, and then you have the similar thing here after that. I'm copying and pasting from there. So this is for performing the post request and cleaning up, and then let's change the text. Post request failed. I think that is it. So now we have implemented the function for post request. So with this we should be able to use this function. So let's go back to the main the file with the main function HttpClient, and have some code to perform the post request. To perform the post request, as you know, you need to send the body. So if you look into this, you need to send endpoint as well as this data. So let us create that data first. Let me have a label here, post request. Call this let's say post body equals to we want to send this as a name, and let me call this name Alexa, and email So we want to put in this form. So this is going to the thing we will be passing as a second argument in the post request, and we have let me have std string for post response, and then we have a function for calling that post member of the class, and it's going to be user endpoint, and we pass post body to it. And then we want to display this post response. So cout statement, right? I think with this we should be able to get the post request, or we should be able to get the post response to the terminal. Compile again. Probably there is a typo. Curl opt headers is the line number 57. Let me go back to the core. So it is in HttpClient.cpp post here. Oh, I think the S is the extra character added. It should be HTTP header, I guess. So if you have any confusion about this, you can again go back to the to the web page I suggested. You can go and maybe search for curl opt http. So we don't have S in this place, right? So that was the small typo problem. So go back to the code and make sure we save this file, and to the terminal again, and run again. So it is executed without problem, and it's compiled without problem. So one more time, and run. I think there is a problem with the post response. Probably there is a problem with the body we sent. Let me go back to the core and try to look at what is the problem. Maybe let me in the place where we make we call the function. Yeah, the problem I think is the endpoint. So it should be users, but I missed this character here. So the endpoint is the user. That is what we have been using. So let me try it again. There's one more problem again. So let me go back to the code. I think I'm missing something there. So oh yeah, here it should be the column. So it's going to be email Alexa and users here. Let me try. I mean, I hope this time works. Compilation, and now it is working, right? So we got the post response message data added and body name Alexa, email Alexa domain.com. So with this, I want to go ahead and implement. I think the final. There are two additional functionalities to be implemented: um, put request and um, delete request. So for put request, I'm going to be having the function similar to the post request, because in post put request also you need to be passing information about the user. So it's going to be kind of similar to this, or I mean same, you can say the same as this. So JSON data as a body, we want to, I mean, we want to pass it endpoint, we want to pass it, and the name is going to be put. So we have this function, and we want to put implementation in a .cpp file. This is put. So the things are going to be kind of, I mean, pretty much similar to what we did in the post request implementation. First, we need to have this handle. Even this thing is going to be there. This header is going to be there. We need to have this header. We need to have this JSON information there. We need to have this I mean URL setup. We also need to have this header setup, and we also need to have this post fields setup, and callback has to be there. Response setup, perform, easy cleanup. Everything is going to be kind of same. There is only one additional thing we have to add there. So I'm copying everything from the post request implementation, and one thing we want to add here is just to make sure that it is not post, it is going to be put. So we have one option set here, easy set opt custom request put. So that is let me just check line by line just to make sure that everything is okay. So we have this libcurl session setup. So and then we have this header setup, and URL headers, and option custom request, put, and post fields, and we have write callback function and response registered, and we have the perform this put request. You intend to do put request here, and clean up, then we have put. Yeah, I think that's all for put. And also let me implement delete request at the same time. So we have delete request is kind of the get request. We don't need to pass the body, so it's going to be so this is not needed. And uh, the function name this is a delete is a keyword, so you can use a keyword as a function name, so maybe have del as a function name. Okay, so and we want to have implementation of this here. So for this its logic is uh, kind of similar to the get request. So we have let me copy everything from the get request and make necessary changes. So we need the handler. This is needed for every cases, and we set the URL. That's fine. That's okay. And we set write callback and response, and this is not needed. So clean up, and we need to tell that we actually want to have so we here maybe somewhere here in this place, we want to set the custom request, like in this case maybe you can copy this function invocation, maybe put somewhere here, and this is the delete and I think that's all right. So we have implemented the function for delete request, we have implemented the function for put request, and we already had the function for post and get request. So let us test this code. So here now we're going to be putting some code for performing testing put request. In the put request, we need to have a body. So call it put body equals to something similar to this, but a little bit different. In the content name, let me have. I'm using my name and my fake email. And response string, put equals to sc dot put users id 33, put body. Then delete. We don't need to pass the body. We just have a delete response equals to sc dot dl endpoint 42 and display the response. Right, so this is the code I have. Let me test it. Hope I don't have any problem with this now. Compilation put resp was not declared. So now we have put response user and then name g1 email and delete response. It was actually internally created and responded, sent back body. So all the requests are working: get request, post request, put request, and delete request. So again, as a summary, we have a class HttpClient Class with base URL and right callback implemented, and we have a constructor and these functions for get request, post request, put request, and delete request. And we have implementation of these functions in .cpp file. This get function implementation, post function implementation, we have put function implementation, and del function implementation. And this is the code that actually invokes those functions. Now to sum up, Node.js combined with Express framework provides a fast and reliable environment for building web servers with routes handling standard HTTP methods such as get, post, put, and delete. These routes or routes allow the server to respond to client request with appropriate data or status code, forming the backbone of RESTful APIs. To test and interact with these APIs, the curl command line tool can be used in a terminal to send HTTP requests manually, allowing developers to specify methods, headers, and request bodies, and to observe server responses directly. For programmatic testing or automation in C++, the libcurl library enables similar HTTP requests within the client program, where curl pointer handle is configured with options such as curl opt underscore URL for target endpoints, curl opt HTTP header for headers, and curl opt post fields for request bodies. Together, these tools provide both server-side implementation and versatile client-side testing options for developing and debugging web APIs.